I want to give y'all a brief rundown on my next episode of Conscious Gems. What we'll be talking about is accepting yourself and coming to terms with identifying yourself and your identity. And so, what I wanted to be able to touch bases on is being comfortable with your own skin, being just comfortable with who you are. And also, we'll be discussing how common these different mental disorders are, and how health mental health issues are just as common as we would think. Also, I want to be able to talk to you guys about how society would then have stigmas and biases against you guys, but still just knowing how to be comfortable with being able to fight against all that stuff like that. How y'all doing? You're now tuned in to Conscious Gems. Now, the topic of the day, topic of the evening, topic of the week, topic of this podcast is accepting yourself in the can't control, whether it would be a mental disorder, whether it be things not going your right way, or just even struggling with who you are and your identity and everything like that. But I got a real treat, I got a real surprise for you guys. Today, accompanying me on this podcast, on this episode, would be my guy, my friend, my more like a brother in a sense, especially when on a mental basis,
Yes,
be
sir.
Chris Gregory. We'll be getting into some things today. How you living?
I'm all right, man. How you been, bro?
I've been vibing. I'm vibing for real. So like what's your take personally on on this topic right here?
Personally for me, man, it's tough. It's a tough topic, and the reason it's tough is because when it comes up to mental health and stuff like that, a lot of people just kind of go about it on their own understanding, not really to what it should be, the seriousness, and people don't take it serious really much at all. So depending on what it is exactly you're dealing with, because it's a lot of things you can deal with as far as mental health, whether it's being schizophrenic or whether it's ADHD or whether it's some type of just any type of mental health issue. I mean, it's hundreds of them. Um, but like I said, like personally, I personally went through and still am going through it. Um, these type of things, and man, honestly, I sadly to say I don't think enough people honestly just take it serious enough, man. It's one of the things I think that needs to be pressed and pressed hard because we're losing a lot of young people. So not even just death, just the streets and just everything stemming from this stuff because
Right.
a lot of people don't know how to reach out, don't know how to talk because that's frowned upon nowadays.
Yeah.
It's a joke to come out and say you're depressed or to come out and say you're going through this and that. Now everybody talking about you. Now everybody think you crazy. Now you feel like you don't fit in,
Yeah.
and it's tough, man. So even with like you said about just really taking pride in within yourself, that is just something you have to do um with even having these problems because if you don't, it's going to eat you up even worse. You know what I mean? Like if you don't take pride in the fact that, you know what, look, I'm different, I have these issues, but I'll get over them, I'll maintain them, I'll live life every day. It still gets harder and harder because you still got that person who's second guessing your thoughts. You still got that person that don't necessarily believe in mental health. You still got that person who don't really want to hear it because it's like,
Right.
their path of life maybe it was easier than yours. So their
Yeah.
understanding is just way completely different. So
Yeah.
it's so much that comes up with it, man. But I want to hear your thoughts, man. I want to hear what you got.
Like I feel like as far as like people who struggle with identity, it's almost in a sense it's like I'm struggling with who I am and who I want to be, and also failing to realize like maybe what happens if I don't become the person that I truly want to be. Oh, what if I'm not the person that everybody believes who I truly am? Like for instance, like say if somebody's struggling with being gay and they haven't came out with it, it's almost to a sense of like they're going to mentally beat themselves up before they even realize what other people are going to even say about them. So they're all worrying about what people are going to say about them because they already have an ideal image of a persona of who they truly are. And then once it's like, okay, this is who I am to the people, and this is who I am on the inside. And then it's like you constantly fighting the battles of who you truly are and who you feel like people perceive you as. You feel what I'm saying? And that can be overwhelming because it's almost a sense it's like people do that with different people. Like ultimately, like what is my mom going to say because how she sees me? What are my teachers going to say because how they see me? How are my friends going to see me like because how they already see me, and some people struggle with that. And then I feel like with people in like different age groups struggle with that as well, because what do you tell a person who feel as though they're either gay, or they feel like, oh, it's hard to be black in my class, I'm the only black person, you feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's hard to be somewhere where I can't relate to my friends because all of them like to do a certain kind of thing when you're a teenager. Oh, they all like to party, all like to do drugs. That's not that's not my particular thing, but I will do it to fit in. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So ultimately, sign is like around that teenager spot. It's like we all try to figure out who we are and what we are, and how can we, what I'm saying, fit in with those people, because we're all looking for a place to fit in with. We're all looking for people who are alike. We're also looking for our personal identity, and that's what we're all trying to figure it out. So like sometimes I feel like one of the biggest things is understanding who you are and becoming who you are, and then once you do figure it out, is going about it in the right fashion. And it's all a part of growing up. So ultimately it's just different with different age groups, So I think one of my biggest things was this goes, I think, with anybody, is being comfortable in your own skin. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because I feel like one thing I had to realize in different phases of my life was that understanding that I am a black boy, a black man. That's what people see first, the color of my skin, and then they go from that. And I had to understand, I had to be comfortable with knowing what I am and what stigmas are placed against me, because if I understand that, then I can embrace who I truly am, knowing that what we have overcame over years and years. So when I'm comfortable with that, but understanding that, look, these are the pros and cons of being a black man, but this is how you embrace yourself, because in a sense, it seems like we are threatened, but also in the same thing, we're put on a pedestal as well. If you would see, if knowledge is put into place, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a strong, educated black man, you put him in a certain place, he is feared because of what he has the potential to do and overcome.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't necessarily teach that to certain people who hold the same demographic, then they won't hold the same standard to that black African American man, if that makes sense.
No,
So I
100%
feel,
correct. And it's funny.
yeah,
It's funny you say that, because that kind of like that. I really like that what you just said there, because that kind of relates to a little bit of even what I'm personally going through right now. So I'm gonna just give you a little background. So you got a kid who was raised, you from South St. Pete, so I don't even have to explain the struggles and the difficulties of growing up there.
right,
Now you add in not having mom, not having dad,
exactly,
and then you add in just every day, just first of all surviving. That was my main thing, just survival, just making it through each day. Um, and then you have issues with family, like you know how shitty it'll make you feel to know that a person in your family was only willing to take care of you only if it involved the paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it involved getting money. So like, look, this is my blood, this is my family. But hey, if the state not giving me this, and that, they ass can go to foster care for all I care. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, right,
and then you get out here in the real world, right? You grow up, you make it. First of all, you get through everything that everybody didn't think you would. You get through high school, you graduate high school. You know what I mean? People trying to figure out like, well, damn, how did he do that? And then now you make something of yourself because a lot of people done counted you out, right? So you do like
yeah,
that little small, just that little small thing, like graduate high school. Nobody thought you would do it, but when you do it, it's like, oh wow, like I counted him out. Like I'm surprised he did that. So now it's these expectations of, well, he's been doing good in sports. He just graduated high school. I
right.
expect him to. I expect him to be this big pro now. You know what I'm saying? I expect
Yeah,
him
those
to.
social stigmas. That's the stigma
Yeah,
that we have behind.
yeah.
Yeah, right, right,
Those
right.
social stigmas. So now I'm dealing with, okay, so like my family, the same family that let me down, same family that let me go to foster care, the same family that's now they a fan. You know what I'm saying? Now they,
Yeah,
oh, Chris gonna be something. He's special. He gonna be this, and that. Now the pressure on. Now the pressure's
yeah.
on. So now my head's like, I gotta go to the league. I got to.
You got to. Yeah, right,
Like,
right.
if I don't, my life is completely done and over with. Like I don't have nothing to live for if I
The
don't go.
magnitude shift of, because they feel like you're not living up to what you potentially could be.
Correct. So
Right,
but that's only because I didn't go the route they assumed I was gonna go the first time. They counted me
right,
down. They counted me out. But
right.
once they say I elevated over that, it was okay. All right, now he got to be something bigger. He done got through the worst stuff,
Right.
and now what a lot of people don't understand, that even comes with mental health. Like a lot of that stuff I went through in the past caught up to me when I was an adult, and now I'm really, really dealing with it. And
Yeah.
now it's not this the sucky part as an adult. Now it's you're a grown ass man. Take care of it yourself.
Right.
Now it's okay. Well, I can't talk to nobody because now I'm gonna be looked at as weak.
Yeah.
I can't, you know what I mean? Like nobody really listens or nobody really cares until it's like, oh, he done killed himself, or this
But
person this
now
person
see,
hurt themselves. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And now it,
yeah, that's the crazy thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
and now it's like, and now these same people who weren't even there to make a phone call to reach out, see if you're okay, see if you're all right.
Yeah.
Now them same people on Instagram. Oh, rest in peace. That was
Yeah.
my friend. I loved him so much. We were so close. Man, I was just going through it yesterday, and you ain't even give me a phone call. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
these are the type of things that you deal with mental, because not only are you dealing with that, but you're also inside your own head at the same time. So it's like a non-stop cycle,
Right.
and it's like who do you call? Like you call, they be like, oh, well, go get help. You're a 25-year-old grown ass man. Who finna listen to a sad story about what he going through?
Right. And I
You know what
feel
I
like
mean?
I feel like a lot of things to go on within that is like knowing who you can depend on, because it's like it's crazy because like what you were saying with how you grew up, a lot of people go through a lot of different things that shape and mold them to the person they are. And then not only do you get through what you're going through, you then have those different stigmas that are placed on you because of who you are before you become anything. You know, your from your demographics to what you have done in school to the accomplishments, everything like that. So you have those biases because there's a standard of what you can be and what you cannot be. So you
Yeah,
have to rise above it or you go below that, and then there's different stigmas that are placed on you with the performance that you place, like through those different standards. So then all this, honestly, I feel like a lot of things will happen is that, you know, we do have family and friends that are there for us, but sometimes they're not in a position to properly be there for us because they haven't got through it or know how to be there for somebody, or there hasn't been somebody to properly be there for them themselves. You
absolutely.
feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So like sometimes I find myself being putting myself in a situation like I used to feel like, damn, why hasn't this person reached out or so like that? And I used to always go to school and my sister would be like, why you didn't reach out? You didn't reach out. And I'd be like, damn, I was going through it and shit, nobody would reach out to me and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, sometimes I had to realize like a lot of people have their own stuff on their plate. So I can't ultimately fault them for that.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be something that you bring to the table to make me realize like, look, on good terms, this is who we are. We're the best of people. But on bad terms or something like that, if something in the fan, is there something I can depend on you? Not even if it's financially, but also understanding that you could give me some type of advice to put me that put me in the best position. Now, just let me understand that this sometimes like I think sometimes I feel like the best advice or the best thing you could do to somebody who is going through something is to give them peace of mind. Now sometimes I can go ahead and say like this, for example, say if you had a friend, you know what I'm saying, you know, they always ask for money, something like that. But just imagine if you don't give them the money, now all of a sudden, you know, you the worst friend, you're not there for them, da da da. When I was down bad, I was messed up, when I was in the trenches, you weren't there. But just imagine, besides me giving you money, what if I told you, look, every weekend, Salvation Army will give you X amount of cans, X amount of food. Not only will they do that, there's a pantry down the street, you know what I'm saying, that will give you food throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every Tuesday, every Thursday. Now, also, I gave you 3 applications that are hiring within your immediate area.
Mm-hmm.
I just put you on your feet. I didn't have to give you nothing. All I did was research and anything. And I put you in the positions of power.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then say I'm going through something as well. I feel like sometimes the best thing you could do for your friend is possibly potentially like is console them, but honestly give them a route of choice. That's what I do with all my friends. I don't tell them, hey, do this. I tell them like, look, this is the problem. These are things that you can do about the problem, and what do you see fits best? And sometimes it works if they listen, if they go through with it. But ultimately, sometimes your friends are not going to call you to check up on you or to tell you, or like they're not going to like look to be there or anything like that because sometimes they're scared of like hearing the truth or knowing that, oh, I should do the right thing, but they don't want to do it yet because it takes them out of their comfort zone. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think another thing what you were saying about like the biases and stigmas within your health and within your mind,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's like I feel like our worst enemy could be our mind. It's like we sit and we do certain things, we make these decisions based off a crowd in our head. You know, when I say crowd, I mean like what would mom say, what would dad say, what would my friends say, you know, so what would
Mm-hmm.
these professors, these teachers say, what would social media say when they see me making this type of move, and
Yeah,
then it puts us into the situation to second guess it. Because I remember a while back, remember when I got in trouble at USF, it was a lot of things that nobody would ever tell me that I'd probably be able to do. He done for, he gonna be in jail, he not gonna be able to go back after school, he not gonna get a degree, he not gonna be able to be anything or amount to nothing. But it's crazy because I seen the longevity and what I wanted to do, and that situation was probably one of the best things that
that
ever
happened
happened to
to
me
you. Yep.
because now I'm in a position to elevate. Because I was at my lowest at that point in time. I could have lost everything, but in that point in time, I had to take it upon myself to be like, look, if you're gonna rise above it, it has to be in you to be able to do it. Like I can give you all the advice in the world, but if you're not making a conscious effort to put forth any effort to consciously do better, you will never be able to make it outside of that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what that is. It's so it just you could put that in so many different situations. You know, being in your dad's shadow or something like that, or not even being in your dad's shadow, but you could do it to the point where understanding like you came from nothing, you came from an impoverished neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have any offers from high school in any sport, or you can apply that anywhere. But understanding that you have the ability to shape your identity no matter the circumstances is the beautiful thing of it all, because you can always shape and change your identity and become whoever you would want to be no matter the age. You feel me? Because
Right.
I remember like
So
let's just say 5 years ago, like we were a certain person and people seen us as who we were at that point in time. But then imagine if we told them back then that we were going to be this at this time, they wouldn't believe it. You feel me? So
facts.
it's just a part of revolutionizing yourself. Like
Yeah,
we can be whatever we want to be.
and that's even something I even got to work on myself, man. I even did like I'll sit here and tell myself like what I one of the things that I want myself and other people who are dealing with mental health as well is when you get in your head, get out. Whatever the hell you got to do to get out of your head, whether it's go just jump in the pool real quick or go just anything, go take a hot shower, just anything, like any type of music, do it because your own mind, especially with mental health, it can kill you. And I'm talking about
Bro,
legitimately
bro,
kill
you know
you.
what I
It's
call that?
been
You know what I
and time I felt like my back was against the wall, you know what I mean? Just because
Hey, that's crazy, bro.
I
You know what I call that?
what's that?
I call that the presence of peace. You feel me? Like you literally put peace in your presence. Like I'm gonna let you finish though, but I just had to like say that because like sometimes I go through it, bro. I turn on some cartoons. You feel me? Turn on some stuff that take me back to my childhood. That put me in a place where I ain't had no worries. I ain't care about nothing, and it's like I bring in peace.
Yeah,
You feel
and
me?
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I have to find, and see that's why I have to find mine because like me, my thing was I used to just go ahead, just find a joint and just smoke it because it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, that's my peace. But what I wasn't realizing is like, yeah, that's my peace, but that's only my peace for the moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
I need something that's long, like that's something I can always jump because you're not gonna always just be able to light up and spark a joint. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but you can always read a book. You can always read a book. You know, it's always gonna be a book somewhere in the
Yeah.
house, or an article
Positive,
somewhere
something
online that you can read.
productive. Yeah.
Always gonna be something out there for you to just get up. So I have to find a new one because like, man, I get in my head and I just want to quit. Like I just had like an episode probably 2 days ago,
Yeah.
and it was just like I'm done. Like I don't care like about shit no more. Like because that's what mental health do to you. It just it drains you because you just got like this feeling like nobody cares, nobody want to listen, nobody understand.
You think it got something to do with your disorder?
And yeah, I mean it has a lot to do with it. But it's the scary part is it's like ain't not a pill or anything can really fix it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not. Oh well, you need to go see a therapist. It's like, well, I go see a therapist. I can go take medicine. I can do whatever I want. That's not gonna stop what's what's just like for example, like this is one of the scariest things about mental health. So I take mental health as serious as I take mental retardation, as I
Mm-hmm.
take any of that stuff, Down syndrome, all of that stuff. Like I don't put mental health on any less than
Oh, scale to that.
on a scale than any of that stuff. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's because it's uncontrollable. just like the rest of that stuff, just like the kids that couldn't really help themselves being, with the whole Down syndrome thing, or whoever was born without, whatever, like they couldn't help it. And it's the same thing with mental health. Like no one can help what is put in their head. Nobody can. Like you
You
can't.
were born that way.
Yeah, it was just how you were born. It's just the way stuff was like just meant like a lot of, and it's a lot, and this is a question that I actually have for you. So I'm gonna stop myself just to ask you a question. So do you believe anybody with mental health in general? So like I heard you say basically that there's nothing that you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that they literally just can't do it? Like just like do you believe that that's possible that they just can't do it?
I feel
Like
like I feel like there's barriers and there's certain things that are placed on people that of certain degree, like for instance, like if you really put into perspective, people who are mentally impaired, they're put at a certain standard to where they're in a quotation sense, they're not supposed to be able to do certain things, but then some people be able to go above and beyond that because of the biases and stigmas that society places on them. Just like how it is frowned upon to have like a female referee in NFL. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that's not a standard. You feel what I'm saying? So like just like for me, like me, I have a mental disorder. I have a mental health disorder. I have general anxiety disorder, GAD, and I have ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it made me realize like I am not. That's why I had to say like it made me take mental impairment more seriously because I feel too that I am mentally impaired. And just imagine that I wasn't born like this and all the things that I had to suffer from this, and look at the things that I'm overcoming with it. You feel me? And a lot of people I feel like miss out on understanding that they could be mentally challenged, but also they're able to overcome certain things because the potential to be able to rise above all of that is amazing. You see how people overcome certain boundaries in their life, even if they're mentally impaired or they're not. It's just learning how to deal with it and having that much conscious effort within you to be able to rise above that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you too. Like what disorder do you have?
Well, I got PTSD, like extreme PTSD, just from a lot of
Right,
the stuff that I've been through.
right,
ADHD and a little bit of depression, but
right.
it's funny. It's like I'm really loving this conversation, but so like I said about the whole can't factor. So like it's things that so like I get here, like I got over, like you say, we get through all these things, we get over all these obstacles, and
Right.
then it's like we go through all of this stuff, and then like now I'm at that place now where it's just like, what's next? Like what now? I done
Mm-hmm.
overcame foster care. I done overcame every single type of abuse you can think of. Literally any types of abuse you can think of. I done overcame uh the jungle, like 4 bunk beds to a room, 40 boys,
Yeah.
set schedule every day, fighting every day, trying. You know what I'm saying? Like I done survived all that. Now it's like,
Right.
all right, I'm grown now. Like what now? You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
the average kid is like, I live with my mom and dad. I go through high school, then I get to college. My people took me to college, and now I'm in college, and now life's good. And you know what I mean? Like you got
Right.
levels. So it's like now it's like in my life right now, and it's funny because I talk to people, and it's like when I talk to people, I'm always talking to somebody who either A, just have a silver spoon, or,
Mm-hmm.
or B, just like 100% don't really grasp or understand exactly what I'm going through because they're not going through it. So what I try to do is I try not to talk to anybody who's never seen any type of struggle, or I try not to talk to them because how would they understand? How can, you know what I mean? Like for example, my mom and dad. How can somebody that see their mama every single day tell me I know how I feel?
I can understand that.
Like you can't. You don't even know. You don't know the first thing about struggle. You can pick up your mama and call them whenever you want to. Whenever you
Mm-hmm.
need a couple dollars, you can call mama and daddy. Shell. Whenever you need anything, you can call mama and daddy. Me,
You know,
it ain't nobody. I just gotta get it myself. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And
I think another thing is that we can't expect everybody to always understand what we have been through
yeah, we
or
can't.
to
It's
understand our
impossible.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible. The thing I've always wanted was I never wanted people to know because I know that's impossible. Again, unless you go through it, you won't know. But I've always
Right.
wanted people to be kind of sympathetic and like try to just understand. Like, look, I had it this way. This is the way. This is why I am the way I am. He didn't have it so good, so I can see why he's a late bloomer. I can see why he don't got this going yet, or got that going yet, or got this going on. I be just wanting people to just be a little bit more understandable, man, because it's sad because the first thing you do, like honestly, AD, people think I got it going on, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
people look at Instagram and look at all types of stuff and they just look at me and they just like, he got it. Like he good. And it's
Yeah.
like, no. not even close, not even a little bit. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Right.
conversations like this is what it is, and that's why I'm glad I'm doing this, and I'm gonna try to stay consistent with it because this is a serious matter, man. It's a serious topic, and I done lost people to stuff like this. I done had a friend in the group home that I was dear friends with kill themselves because they handle what was going on. I've had guys that I've lived with in those group homes who I've saw in the streets later, uh, no teeth in their mouth, barefooted, strung out on drugs. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful because I could have went that route. I could have went to the streets. I could have went to robbing and hurting people. I could have went to selling drugs, but I didn't. And it's like, all right, now I want to do it the right way, but it's like I don't know how. And
Right.
it's like who where do you go, where do you run to? You know what I mean? Like it's a lot easier when you got your parents because they can help you, guide you, they can keep you on task, keep you focused, make sure you don't slip up. You got all these great things that comes with that. And then when it's just you, it's like it's all on you. And if
Right.
you don't
Yeah.
get it done,
Yeah.
you fail, and that's just the way it goes. And
Yeah. I think a lot of people just feel. I think we need to have certain people placed in our lives that give us that extra push because some people have it in them to keep going, but some people always will suddenly need that extra push to get them to where they're going. Like being able to educate us early on the necessary and the magnitude of what mental health is entirely because a lot of people take mental health as in you're just depressed, you're just have anxiety or something like that, but they don't know the
yeah,
magnitude of what that does to people and
they
stuff like
don't
that. Just
know.
like how they may think that mental health just has something to do with people that have physical characteristics that 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 are connected to a mental disorder as in Down syndrome. You can see Down syndrome on them, but you can't see depression, you can't see anxiety as well as you can see something else because like anxiety and depression does not knock, it has no alarm clock, and it comes in different forms. A messy room, you feel what I'm saying, not reaching out to people and everything like that, not eating. Those are different signs of it, but sometimes people are not being able to grasp onto that and understanding that raising awareness of this makes it that much more uh that was more exciting to talk about because a lot of people aren't informed of how this can take place. And I also think that if you educate the youth on the magnitude and how big this is, you can then let them understand how they can pinpoint it within themselves and let them understand that, oh, okay, I know what anxiety is, I know what depression is, so when I feel like this, what do I do about it, how can I go about it, because everything doesn't work the same way for everybody else and stuff like that. And I felt like it's also something that we also need to like share with all children so they grow up with understanding that this is normal, this is okay, this is how you can go about it, and it's okay to get diagnosed. You know what I'm saying? You're not crazy. This is how you are born, and it doesn't make you that much more bad of a person, but it does make you different. It doesn't make you bad different, but it makes you having to understand that there's a different way you do have to go about things, and it's okay, but you have to understand how to control this that you were born with. Like me, I had to learn how to control my anxiety because I never would have been able to got diagnosed. My professor never would have said, "Hey, I think it's about time for you to get diagnosed because you're having panic attacks, your anxiety is too bad, you're sweating, you're not sleeping, and certain things are worrying you to the point where it's like you wake up and you literally have a worry list. You constantly pick
Oh,
things up and worry
boy,
throughout the day."
you speaking
And,
right now.
and then with that being said, it's almost to the sense where I told she told me to get diagnosed, and I went and got diagnosed, and it was one of the best things that happened to me because I was able to get medicine for something that I was able to, now I can then control my anxiety in a sense.
Hmm.
I take Lexapro for my GAD, which is general anxiety disorder, and my ADHD, and it levels it and balances me out. but for some other people, it may not just work for them like that. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say, like, for the people that are in families that don't believe in mental health, oh, you don't have anxiety, you don't have depression, you'll be all right.
You just need to
So what?
pray.
Yeah, you just need to pray.
That's
So
their
like,
favorite thing.
yeah. So what do you do when you tell people who grew up in things like that, and then they actually end up having a, oh, I have mild general anxiety disorder, I have it's on a mild scale, you know, and what do you tell people who are then people who need to put forth effort in action? You know, oh, I need to pray, but also I also need a plan of action to get things and take care of all of this stuff like that.
Correct.
You know, so understanding that mental disorders are common, raising awareness that understand that these are common, but understanding that there are proper ways to go about mental disorders and knowing how to educate people on them to know how to treat people with it.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
Because I mean, it's ultimately a good way to go about it in the same way, because people would have never known that I had this, and I never would have known I would have had this until I was in school studying it. I was like, dang, GAD sounds like something I got. Come to find out, I was diagnosed on a major scale with it. You know, I had it. If it was like on a scale of 1 to 10, if I had it on 12, like 11 to 12. That's what, like, you know, my doctor said. So on me understanding that, I was educating myself and understanding that, okay, what are the proper ways to do certain things? You feel me? And I think a big thing that we talked about earlier was having the presence of peace. You feel me? Like, in these day and ages, like, you know, I work 6 days out of the week, and the days I do work, I do small things for myself, whether it's meditation, whether it's cooking, you know, whether it's doing like going somewhere that I like to eat, my favorite spot, or just doing something like for myself to keep me mentally sane, keep going, keep me motivated. Or I sit down and write down ideas for my business, for my next plans for the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and motivate myself to keep going and keep pushing. Or I'll literally talk to my friends about certain ideas that I want to have in the making to keep myself motivated to keep going. Because no matter, like, I know it's sad to say, no matter how many things are placed against you, whether it's a mental health disorder, whether it's stigmas on society, whether it's stigmas from your family, because we all got standards that we have to live through from our families, it does not matter what is placed against you. There are certain things that you still need to do to rise to the occasion of becoming the best person that you possibly can be. Now, if you do not rise to the occasion of being of the stigmas that are placed on you through society, your family, your friends, it is okay, because maybe that was their standard, but it wasn't yours. And who they want you to be is not who you truly are. Your purpose is bigger than somebody else's opinion. You feel me? And when I learned that, I was just like, dang, anybody can say whatever they want about me, but I can literally be whoever I want to be. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what I feel myself becoming, is exactly who I want to be. Like, let's just say if I said tomorrow I want to be a ballerina, I would literally go ahead and do that, no matter who would say had backlash about it behind me, because no matter what you do, back again. Sorry for the disconnection and everything like that, but we're back. Took a little brief intermission and everything like that, but I was just basically just saying is understanding that how important it is, you know, basically to get diagnosed and educate yourself on how common mental disorders are, and being able to do away with stigmas, understanding that there is no boundary with what you can and can't, like what you can't do. There's no boundary. You could literally do whatever you would literally want, in these stigmas, whether you have a mental disorder or not. You could do whatever you want to do and stuff like that in any capacity. That's basically what I want to spread the word with, and like that, and understanding that I think another thing I want to do was understand that you can follow your heart. It's okay to do so, and doing what you love to do, no matter the backlash that you can get from that, and understanding that sometimes when we do ask our friends for certain advice on what we are doing, not all advice is good advice. You feel me? Like, that's how I personally feel, because, you know, I could ask somebody about, you know, if I should do this or if I should do that, and it puts me in a place to where I can take part of their advice and take it and run with it. But ultimately understanding that there are certain things that you do need to hear from your peers that are good things that you need to be able to take and put in your mind, and be able to be conscious of how that's going to be able to affect you in your later life if you know, put it to effort and stuff like that. So I think another thing we also should touch bases on is how do you make peace with yourself when you can only accept the things you cannot change. You know, like for instance, like say for older people, they feel like their youth is running away from them, and they're trying to make dealings and understandings with who they're becoming and what they are. Also, what if they're holding on to a grudge from a family member, from their mom, their dad? How do you then make peace with yourself and understand that you have the ability to change the relationship, or ultimately understand that, say, if there was a death in the family that you blame for yourself, how do you then accept the change from that? Like, what's your take on that?
That's another tough one because that's another one I always dealt with. So as far as the whole death thing, like, whew, that there is a tricky one, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because just a little brief little story. My mother was I have a twin, so when my mom had me and my twin, she was probably doing the worst shit she could have possibly been doing. So that's I've been in and out of prison just so much, you know. When you're going through that process of having a kid is as simple as just sit your ass down somewhere and and be careful. So you can just only imagine what me and my twin sister had went through. So a lot of the I want to blame. Like I was one of the very few people in my family who was just like, "It's okay, mom. It's okay. I understand. Like it's gonna be okay." And to where everybody else was just like, your mama ain't shit. She'll never be shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's just like I wanted to hate like my mom. I wanted to like hold a grudge on my mom, but it's like, how can you? Like how can you, especially seeing what I'm going through now? It helped me understand like, wow, she was probably really battling something and she just
Right.
never really got the proper help.
Yeah.
And now she dead. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so at one point in my life, I was kind of just like, I don't like, I hate her for what she made me and my sisters go through.
Mm-hmm.
I held this grudge for so long. Like, why would she want us to go through this? Why would, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's not nothing a mother should ever, and then she died. And death, it changes a lot of things. Um, it made me kind of think outside the box. It made me kind of realize like right now, Chris, you see how you're going through something and you feel like you're back against the wall. You feel like you don't got no help. You feel like don't nobody care. Don't nobody. Your mama might have been feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
And how I can go and revert to marijuana, for those causes, she just went to something else that was just worse than marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So when you really put all the pieces together, can I really be wrong? Can I judge her? You know what I mean? Can
Yeah.
I like really blame her?
Yeah.
Like I can't.
And you know what's the worst thing about that though, bro, is like when you hold on to something for so long, it eats you away, then it changes your habits and your behavior because you're trying to protect yourself from feeling that hurt again. And you know
Right.
what's worst about the hurt is that when I mean not about the death is that when death comes, bro, it can come so abrupt or so sudden, and at the same time, bro, you don't even have no chance to make it right. You feel me? It's like that's where it's a lot because my uncle died um from kidney failure, and that's a slow painful death. He
Yeah.
lost his independence like day after day, feet swollen, not being able to eat, lost all his weight, and he was literally like dying
Like a
each
vegetable.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people weren't coming to see him in a sense, and he felt like alone. And me looking back on it, I feel guilty because I feel like I wish I would have been able to do more for him.
Yeah. Instead of judging them, instead
Yeah,
of talking down, you wanted
yeah,
to be that
because
person. Yeah.
yeah,
And
because
that's
not
that.
yeah,
Right.
because I'm not. I wasn't talk. I felt like I wasn't like talking down or I wasn't like hindering him, but I felt like because we were staying with him, and I felt like in the sense that I wish I would have been able to sit with him and talk with him a little bit more rather than being a teenager or being a young adult like how I was, where I
Mm-hmm.
probably could have sat down and been able to pick his brain a little bit because I mean he still wanted to go to the movies, go eat, knowing his health wasn't going to let him be able to do that. And I should have been the one to be like, dang, his days are numbered now.
Yeah.
And
Literally. Yeah.
man, bro, man, let's go get some food, man. Let's you feel me? Let me sit down, bro, and let me just talk. But sometimes, bro, seeing that face to face, that death face to face, it was so close. I'm like, man, this is real hard to try to deal with not knowing how to deal with it. You feel me? But then when you get older, it's like, damn, you could have did that way
Yeah,
different. You feel me? So like that's why I feel like knowledge is power, bro. Because if you would have had a certain mindset or a certain knowledge about yourself to be able to carry yourself in a certain fashion, certain things would have been avoided, if that makes sense. So
absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing for sure. And it's times where, like, even like you said, holding a grudge, it's like I couldn't even like hold a, because I had so many people in my life telling me that I was gonna be just like her. Shit, I
mhm.
couldn't even hate her, you know? Like
Yeah,
I could, I couldn't even hate her. It was just like, oh, you're gonna be just like your mama. All right, cool. Like,
yeah,
and it's like now she, she went from being in the streets, being in and out of prison, and this is my own people telling me this, my own blood, my own family telling me this. And it's like, instead of y'all going to help her, your family too, and trying to put her in a better position where she can do better,
mhm,
where y'all rather just sit here and talk down to her, to her own kids,
yeah,
and tell her own kids that, oh, you will never be anything, you will be just like her. Like, and I had to get out of that. Like, I had to take myself out of that situation. Like,
from that negativity, bro.
yeah, like,
That's not a good mindset to have.
yeah, it is, and it was killing me, bro. It was eating me up. You know what I'm saying? It did a lot to me, and it was changing me. And it was like, damn. It was like, damn. Chris kind of just up and just disappeared. Like, where did he go? Like, ain't nobody know what happened. It was just like, I just took myself and just went back to foster care. Like I chose foster care over being with my own blood. So that just tells you how
Mhm.
bad it was being with my own blood. So
Yeah,
it don't even just be like, and that's why a lot of people, and that's another thing, that's the stigma with family. Family is not your blood. I do not care what nobody say.
mhm,
Family can be somebody you just met and just are out, just 100% just rock with you and understand you and respect you and show love to you. That is your family. People get so crossed up, and I was so caught up in the word family, and I was willing to do anything for quote unquote family. But then watching those same people just crap on me or not help me when I'm down, but when they need it, I'm there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
All types of stuff.
Bro,
And
you know what I learned though? You know what I learned from that? Like with family, friends, peers, things I see on social media, like everybody, like I know a lot of people say everybody not raised like you, but everybody doesn't also don't move to the same ethics and codes as you. No matter if it's your
mm-hmm,
mom, your dad, your peers, your friends, like a lot of people go by different codes and ethics about certain things. Like it's certain things that I honestly would not do because it's a certain code and ethic that I follow. Like for
uh-huh,
certain things, and a lot of people you can't really expect for them to be able to move like that, or even honestly you can literally sit here and try to help somebody so much to the point where it turns you blue in the face and it literally will get you nowhere unless they literally make the conscious effort to do better. You feel me?
mm-hmm,
Sometimes I always felt like my family would come down and they would like talk to my mom about doing better for the house and doing better for my grandmother and stuff like that. And honestly, it's like, how could you then be able to judge somebody but you just do checkups like 2-3 times out of the year. And sometimes it would put my mom in a situation where she would like, y'all don't know what I'm going through. All y'all do is check up through this many times a year. How would y'all be able to know what I'm dealing with on a daily basis? Just like me, I deal with certain things on a daily basis, but all you do is see my social media and stuff like that. So a lot of things you don't really feel like you need to check up on that person because you feel as though they're doing fine. You feel what I'm saying? But you gotta understand, our best parts of us sometimes are on social media because that's the things that we
no,
really
that's
want to.
all it is.
Yeah,
Really,
because
all
that's the
social
things that we
media
want to be able
is.
to share.
That's why I hate it, bro. I'm
Yeah,
damn near about to get off of it, to be
yeah,
honest with you. 'Cause it's like,
yeah.
I be wanting it for what I want to do as far as a career in my life and stuff. But in reality, bro, I really don't need that shit. Kawhi Leonard don't got an Instagram. I don't need one.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just honestly, and that's another thing. I think I be looking at, not even just me, just everybody, just be looking at social media and be comparing. They do a lot of comparing, and I did that. Well, at least when I was younger, not now, but I did a lot of comparing. It was like, well, damn, he's 23 just like me, but he got a car, he got a nice job, he got everything going for him. Why I don't got that? You know what I mean? Like, He got his family, he got this, everything is great for him. Why I don't got that? And all it did was just set me back and more back and
Yeah.
more back and
Well,
more
that's
back.
crazy. I was
You
just
know,
talking about, bro. I was talking about that on my other podcast, bro. About
like
yeah, bro. For
yeah, it's the thing, and it happens. And it happens naturally because like you want to be like these same your peers. You want to be going on trips. You want to be going on vacation. You want to be hanging out in the club. You want to be doing all of this stuff. You want to be
but
happy. You want to live this life.
that's probably not
But
even your
then,
speed. That's probably even meant for you.
yeah,
That's probably not even your speed.
right. And it's like, is this really me? Like, is this really what I want for myself? Like, is this I never been like before I started playing football and before I started, getting girls and all of that stuff. Like none of this was me.
Yeah.
I ain't care about posting on Instagram. I ain't care about posting. I ain't care about none of this. But now all of a sudden I make it a priority. Like, am I doing this to myself?
Right.
Like I gotta slow down, man. Like I gotta like just find myself and social media just ain't it. Like it ain't. I think it's made people even with like mental health issues. I think social media does nothing but make it worse for them.
It puts us in
And
another. It puts us in another bond for us to have a certain standard. For us to immediately look at somebody else's life.
it puts you must be like, well, damn, you know.
Yeah, I think it generally puts us in a predicament to where we can immediately look at somebody else's life and judge it and be like, dang, that's what I want. That's what I need. That's how I want to be able to look. You know. So you get me?
Got somebody trying to call me. That's probably why it's like that. People keep trying to call.
Okay, but like what I was saying is like, I mean, we can wrap it up. We'll wrap it up soon, because this is a
Okay.
lot of material. But like
Yeah.
what I was just saying is like I feel like a lot of people, get to this point where social media gets to them because a lot of people look on there. You can immediately look at somebody's life and think that that's the best part of their life. It is like, dang, they living like that. I need to be able to be either one up on that or be just like that, and then it just can mentally put you in a frustration like spiral because it's like, dang, I'm making these attempts to do that and I can't even do it, and now it makes you more and more depressed because we're seeking happiness, but it's like someone else's happiness is what you truly want, and
Right.
you can't truly be able to get that if you don't make peace within yourself and
Mm-hmm.
and accept the things that you cannot change, and understand that having a peace of mind is being able to accept yourself for who you are and what your potential is, and being able to close that gap of who you are and that potential of who you can possibly be. Close that gap.
Okay,
I think
how would you give advice to a person, or so we can wrap it up with this? What advice would you give to a person who necessarily don't even know who they are,
my thing.
just because of the trials and tribulations that they've been through, just because of everything that they've been through to their life, like, and now they're now here. Like, what would you tell a grown, like, let's just say even me. Let's just say me. What would you tell a person like myself, someone who's been through all these trials and tribulations, someone who's completely lost, you know what I mean, who
Mhm.
just don't even know themselves, don't really, you know what I mean, just because they
Yeah,
just been through so much, and it was a more of a focus on surviving rather more than it was on a focus on becoming someone, or you know what I mean, like,
right.
what would you tell that person?
Well, what I would do is right now is understanding that what you've all overcome. I would say that you would give yourself a pat on the back and a round of applause, but understand that that celebration is short because not only have you overcame so much, it is so much more for you to actually overcome as well. So
Right.
understanding that just because you're in your age are at right now, it is so much for you to be able to accomplish. Now, with knowing that you've done some of the hardest things, what's even going to be more harder is understanding that I overcame all of that stuff like that at the age that I was at the mental capacity that I was at. And I don't even have the knowledge that I have now. And I overcame that stuff then. So let me understand that I have the rest of my life ahead of me to do whatever I want to do. If I want to travel the world, I can literally research, save, and go to the best parts of the country, the best parts of the world that I would literally want. That's what my heart desired. If I wanted to be a traveling advocate for people who want to travel and give them um, feedback on these parts and stuff like that, I would be able to want to do that. I can do it. I will do that. If that's literally what I want, I would literally follow my heart and go through with that, no matter who would be in my corner about it, because that's my heart. It's what I want to do. Because it's so much easier to do something when your heart is in it, as opposed to if your mind is just in it, or if your mind is just there, or if you're just physically there. Like literally, I go to work, both of my jobs, and my heart is in it because I actually like a part of it doing it. It's literally something I do. I make a change for it. You know what I'm saying? That's something I make a change in. So literally doing something that you love to do, everything else will fall into it, because you can understand that if you're literally solely doing it off of the money, you can it's not gonna be as genuine as if you're doing it with your heart, because you can always get paid in different avenues. Just like if I go to be a clinical therapist, which I am looking to be, that's not my sole income. So I'm not even looking at the price. How much they get paid a year anymore, because I'm looking to become everything else. I'm looking to, you know what I'm saying, to do a clothing line. I'm looking to be a football player. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking to do so many other things that bring in revenue. I'm looking to get into real estate. It's like so much other things that you can do as your person. Like maximize your potential and who you are, and follow your heart with it. If do it with every effort and every conscious effort that you have within yourself, because you have time on your side. We're all young. And in that time, build a support system. And if you are your support system by yourself, that is fine. That is okay, because on the ride, you will find people that will support you in the fashion that you need to be supported. You feel me? And
Right.
that's what I had to learn for myself. Because if I, for everything that I literally want to do, I would tell anybody, look, this is what I'm going to do. I sometimes let my plans unfold first before I announce it. But I would literally say, follow your heart, do everything that you aspire to be, and go from there. And look at the people that have their own stories. From Oprah, for an example, you feel me? Her story alone should be able to let you understand that I've been through everything in my life, and that's not her identity. We look at Oprah as something else. We don't
Mm-hmm.
look at her from the things that she went through and before she got famous. We look at her, the stuff that we seen her as we grew up to see. You
Right.
feel me? So you have a chance to change your identity with who you are, even if you do feel like you're at a standstill. That's just the beauty of it, because you have potential to be whatever you want to be, and you are who you are right now. You just have to close that gap. So that's
That's
what
great
I think.
feedback. That's good feedback, and I'm sure the listeners gonna really love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so guys, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna wrap things up with this. I hope you guys really appreciated this podcast. You're gonna hear from both of us soon. We're gonna talk about a lot of different things, a lot of different topics. If you guys want to get touch bases on a email or anything like that of that nature, you can go ahead and hit my email is adrianpalmore19@gmail.com. My Twitter handle is adrianp_mm. On my Instagram is AD_PALMOR.
Really have many social media platforms, but I just got Instagram. So if you would like to hit me up on Instagram, I'm just C Gregory ____. Real simple, real easy. Get at me. I'm always a listen. I'm always an inbox away.
Yeah, and we appreciate you guys for listening. Hey, boy, this is beautiful, man. I really appreciate you reaching out and everything like that. We definitely gonna get some more topics out there.
Yes,
And
sir.
man, it's all love, man.
Love,
Appreciate
man,
it.
for sure. I'm gonna definitely hit you up, and we gonna keep this train going.
All right, cool.
All right, man. Take care of yourself, bro.
Yep, you too.